Sometimes I go too far with these experiments. Hi, I'm Mark, and this is Subliteral Network. I make art and comics, and thanks for watching. Remember to hit like and subscribe and to leave your feedback in the comments. Now, I post art daily 5 days a week on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, and this is a roundup of some of that work in case you missed it, with a little more detailed description added. You can read my Una the K-Bunny comics free at radiocomics.com, and my one-shot comic called Searchers is available at burningsarahcomics.net. Visit my Patreon page if you'd like to support my work. There's a growing gallery of art and comics to see and enjoy. All these links are in my description and bio, so please watch till the end so you don't miss anything. Here I'm doing some sketching for a piece in the future that I'm going to draw as a cover for one of my mini comics. This thing is tiny. It's only like 2 or 2 by 3 inches. But one of the things about sketching is that you work out problems beforehand. You sketch out your idea, and if problems show up, they're going to show up immediately, or at some point you're going to look back on it and say, well, I got to fix up this sketch a little bit, and you have a chance to correct things rather than making massive changes and taking more time than you need when you're working on the finish. The first thing that jumped out at me about this one was that Arna, that's Arna the Barbarian, in this picture, has no waist. She is just inadequately sized rib cage stuck on her hip joint and bent over, and it didn't become apparent to me until like the next day when I looked at my sketch. She is going to have these big giant hips and thighs, and that's going to stay, but I know this sketch is wrong, but I'm looking at it and my brain is still telling me that it's right. And that is sort of a problem. Your brain wants to tell you that you're drawing okay even when you're not. I find that if I sleep on it overnight, my subconscious rearranges my brain, tells me the difference between right and wrong, and then when I look at the drawing again, it just jumps right out at me. I finished this ink drawing a while ago, and I had it put away for a while, and when I looked at it again, I did not like the proportions of it at all. To me, the figure ended up looking kind of squat and short, and not really the kind of tall proportions that I had thought that I was drawing. Now, for the most part, these days I use Krita, which is a freeware graphics editing program, which I replaced Photoshop, which I used to use, with. So I put the drawing in Krita and I stretched her out so she looks substantially taller, kind of thinned her face down a little bit, and those are about just the only adjustments I made to this picture. Here is the original drawing as I finished it at first, and so you can see there's something of a difference in the way that she looked in the original drawing and in the Krita adjusted drawing. I used to do these ballpoint sketches on a stock of free paper lunch bags that I had managed to get a hold of, and I would use the drawings to kind of play around with proportions and maybe draw things a little differently than I usually do for the sake of experimentation or of different ideas that I had. So I drew this girl and then in ballpoint, and then later on I came in and used a white China crayon and a red marker to add some color to it, and then the whole thing just kind of exploded. You could see the proportions that I had drawn really much more distinctly once I put a little color in there. You can see that her arms, her elbows go down to her waist, but her hand doesn't reach anywhere near to the middle of her thigh above her knee. So here's the whole drawing, and I'm hanging on to these proportions because I plan on using them again. I really liked the way the arrangement came out. You know, when you draw one thing big, you got to draw something else small and then something else big, just to get all the shapes to kind of go together. But I think when you create a set of proportions, especially in cartooning, you kind of have to go through things like that and make sure that things work. This one wouldn't work in that respect. Like, she can't reach all the way down to her knees. If she bent over a little bit, she wouldn't be able to reach all the way down to her knees. But I didn't care. I didn't care then, I don't care now, and I'm not going to care in the future. If I get stuck, on a drawing, or I just don't feel like putting in any great effort, or I can't think of anything, I will always pull out a picture from the forgotten file of unfinished drawings. So this drawing was always a mermaid, but she was always very sketchy, and she always had very, very short arms. And I'm always going around with the idea. I'll pick something out of that forgotten picture file. I'll look at it and say, I'd like to fix this. And then I say, nah, I got other things to do, or I'm supposed to be doing something else, and I put it away. So in this case, I finally put this one on the drawing board, fixed it up, and finished it off. So what I did was in pencil to lengthen and fix the proportions and size of the arms, fix the hands, define that wet rock that she's on, and figure out how to do that in ink, and kind of fix her face up a little bit. It was looking a little sort of like a, I don't know, horse face or something. So I've kind of tweaked it and erased it, redrew it, and this is the finish that I ended up with. I'd like to thank you, my subscribers, and especially my new subscribers. I'm very happy you enjoy hearing something more about the work that I'm doing, and I hope the videos are entertaining, and I really hope you can come back for more.